Hello and welcome. My name is Zach Crawford and I am the Technical Director for the Alabama Soccer Association. And I'm here to help walk you through a little help with US Soccer's brand new Digital Coaching Center and how you use it to create session plans for the courses that you'll take for the E-License, D-License, and even higher on up for some of the other courses. So hopefully this short 10-minute tutorial will help you as you continue to grow and become a better soccer coach. First thing that we want to do is log into the Digital Coaches Center. You go to dcc.ussoccer.com. Should have been here already as you registered for the course, particularly here in Alabama. Make sure you type in your correct email and password, click login. All right, to create a session plan, you're going to go to this tab for planning. It looks like a soccer ball. You'll click on that. Sometimes it takes a minute. Once you get to the planning portion, there are 4 main categories up here for you: graphics, training exercises, training sessions, and then calendar. The calendar is not really a function that you will use for the purposes of the E or the D license course, but it is a great tool for you to use whenever you are working with your team and you are trying to plan a microcycle or macro cycle of training sessions to put into your seasonal plan. So the calendar is there. It's a great tool if you want to use it. All right, first thing I want to do is go to the training sessions portion. As you can see, once you click on that, there are many training sessions that have already been preloaded for you from US Soccer. However, we want you to create your own session plan, since that's the purpose of an E or a D license course, is to learn how to properly design and execute a training session. So what we want to do is create a training session topic. Make sure you type it in exactly as it was given to you or on the list. So improve team's ability to zonal defend. Right. Session objective, this is where you will type in the who, the what, the when, the where, and the why, which we affectionately call the 5 W's. So to go through this quickly, the who is going to be the main players that you're working with. So for this topic, it's our goalkeeper, which is our number 1 in our back line of 2, 3, 4, and 5. What will be the main principles of play that we want to teach? So we're going to teach pressure, cover, and balance, or actually we're improving it, so our players should have some understanding. When will be when the opponent has the ball and in our defensive half. Why do we use zonal defending? So that we can pass players along to our teammates to counteract that team's mobility, which is also another principle of play, so I'm going to capitalize that. I usually like to capitalize those just so that we're aware of what principles that we're working on, since the principles are thing. Here we go. I go over here and change the main category to defending. This will be helpful as you create your repertoire of sessions. It'll be here. So now I've created it. If I want to go in and edit it, I have to go back to this portion and click edit. This is important as you go in and add stuff later. You want to always make sure that you're updating it and saving it before you go in to add more things. So session description, this is where you would type in kind of the organization of your session, maybe what part of the week that it's in, and then all of your session coaching points. So pressure, fast approach, slow arrival, staggered stance, arms up, and on our toes. Whereas cover, to be close to first defender. If they get beat off the dribble, now they become first defender, or they also want to cover the passing lane. So those will just be 2 short ones that we'll type in for now. And I want to make sure I go back up and hit update. Okay, so now we've created our session on improved team's ability to zonal defend. We now must go in and create the training exercises to put into it. So before we do that, we want to create the correct graphics. So go all the way to the graphics tab on the left here. We click on that. Take a second. And now there'll be the pre-loaded graphics that US Soccer's put in for you, or as you go in and you build your repertoire, all of your graphics will show up. So you can see here are all the ones that I've created. So what I want to do is show you how to create a new graphic. We're going to start with 2v2 defending. And notice that you are started with the full field, and the full field is always going north and south. That's how we'll do it for the purposes of the courses in US Soccer. But since it's a full field, it's a little bit more than what I want. So I'll click on background. I'm going to go down and find a half field. And I'm going to use the bottom half. Since the team that I'm working with will always be the blue triangles and will be going north and south, I want to start with them defending in their own half on the portions of the field that they're going to be defending. So I'm going to hit create just so I can save where I'm at. And now it's going to save it, but it's also going to boot me back out to this screen. So you can see here, the latest one that I've done is here, 2v2 defending, and I click on the little pencil, which will help me edit. So now what I want to do is create my graphic, and I'm going to start with just a little training area here. I've done a rectangle, and now I've got to go in and put in my cones. So I'm going to use the cap cones, and I'm going to put them down every 10 yards. I'll change the color if I want to blue cones, and maybe make them just a little bit bigger. So I'll go to size, and then I'll hit tab to move on. So now it'll create blue cones for me, size 2, and I'm going to move them every 10 yards. So if it's 10 yards there plus 10 yards, that'll be 20 yards wide. Plus now we're going to go 30 yards long. So this will be every 10 yards we'll have a cone. So we'll go there and there. So now we've got 10, 20, 30 yards long versus on the side. Now we've got 20 yards in width, and now I've got 30 yards in length. All right, so now what I want to do is go to select. Instead of having to redo the entire thing, I'm going to go up here to the pointer finger, click on that. And now what I want to do is just scroll over what I just created. So now it's selected all of them. I'm going to go up. This portion on the right side called group. And now they're all grouped together. So if I want to move it, they're all together. But instead of grouping it this time, I want to copy it because I'm going to do the same exact thing on the other side. So here we go. I've got that same exact grid on the other side. The only thing is they're blue cones, and I always like to have different cones set up, but we'll just go with it now. Different cones set up between the two grids. The reason I like that is that way players can tell there's an orange grid and there's a blue grid. So for instance, on this one, I might want to change the color of the cones. If I wanted to, I'd have to ungroup. And now I might click on this gray area to move it to the background. Now I can click on my cones. If I click on each cone while I'm holding down the control button, it's going to also select all of them for me. And now I can go down and change that to an orange grid. Okay. Looks like I missed 2 cones. That's okay. We'll go with it for now. All right, so the team I'm coaching will always be the blue triangles. They will always be going north. So I'm going to start here with a 2v2 game. Make the size just a little bit bigger so that we can see them. All right, so I change the size to 3. You can notice that the triangle is much larger, and I'm going to change that to a number 5 because that will be the positional role we're working with. So the 5 will be the left center back, and our 3 will be our left back. We'll do the same thing on the orange grid, except we'll have our right center back, our number 4, working together with our number 2, which is our right outside back. So you can see here from the very beginning of this session, we're wanting to get functional, which means we're going to put the players in the roles they're going to play on the certain part of the field that they're going to do it. So now let's add in our opponents. These positional roles, for now, aren't as important. We just know that we're going to have 2 attackers. So I'm going to Remove that, number 1, so that way it doesn't look like we have a bunch of red goalkeepers we're playing against. Instead, we'll just have 2 red attackers. So now I want to add a soccer ball to it. So I go back to the cone here, I find the soccer ball. The Nike orange one kind of blends in if you use orange cones, so I suggest changing it to the more traditional soccer ball. You go down to the brand, click neutral. Okay, we've got size 2, that's good enough for me. Now I'm just going to place extra balls along this line. So that's going to show me on my session plan where I want to keep the extra balls. Now to diagram this properly, I'm going to have the red team start with the ball. So we've got 2 grids, so we'll need a ball in each one. And now let's do a little bit of the diagramming. So here, if our red player in possession of the ball is going to dribble out, we'll use the snake line. So we clicked on the arrow over here to the left. We find our way to the right side, we find that snaked line. We click beside the ball, but not too close to it because you don't want to select the ball. And now you can see where you're dribbling. You want that player to dribble that way. Same way, if we wanted to make a player pass the ball, we would now do a normal line. So go back to the arrow, click on that, find the normal line, which will be a straight line. Click close, but not too close. And so now we've demonstrated a pass. We want to show player movement. So in this instance, for defending, our players without the ball are going to be moving. So if the ball's been passed here from this red player to that red player, our number 4 will now step to apply pressure. And so that will be the dash line. If that happens, our number 2 will now need to slide over and cover. Now, if that line is not where I want it, I can always come back to the pointer finger, take this line, and then move it down. If I do it from the edge of the box, it will only make that line longer. So to move it around, just play with it a little bit, click on the pointer finger. What you may sometimes have to do is click on the pointer finger, click on another item, and then go back to this item to be able to move it. Because the next time you click on it will be to change the length. All right, so we've done that there for this one. Our number 3 here, let's just say our number 3 was out of position. I'm going to move him, starting position was here. But now we want that player to move to apply pressure. Who's the closest defender? Well, in this instance, I still believe it's number 3. So they're going to step to pressure. 5 will simply just slide in to cover. Okay, so we've got our graphic pretty much the way we want it. We're going to click update. That will save everything we've done. And now we've got to take that graphic and place it into the training exercise. So find the training exercises tab at the top. It's in between the graphics and training sessions. Click on training exercises. We're going to create our own exercise. I've actually already created one of these, so I'm going to find one that says through my archive. So now it will only show up the exercises I've done. And I'll click in 2v2. All right, so here's an exercise I designed earlier, but it was the wrong portion of the field. So I'm going to go in and edit it. Now, as you can see, it's got the title of the exercise, warm up. That's so I can use it for later, 2v2 defending. I can use this warm up for any other session that I want to use. I've got my objectives, which for this session, actually for this exercise, it's not all 5 W's. We've done that for the training session. Now, only for that training exercise, we want to put in our objective, which is teach proper pressure and cover, because it's only first defender and second defender. And our description, which is 20 by 30 yard rectangle. The game is 2v2. Reds will start with the ball and dribble to a line for a point. If blues win possession, then they dribble to the opposite line for a point, and extra balls are placed behind the red team. All right, so now I want to make sure that I have this correct. 2v2, so 2 reds versus 2 blues. I want to make sure that I have 3 and 5 working together, as well as 4 and 2 working together. So this lets me know which players that I'll be using. Now I'm going to click update, because anything that I do here before I add a graphic will not save. So click update, go back to edit. Sorry for the extra step. And now I'm going to change this graphic. It'll take a second for your graphics to load. Here's the one that I just recently did, so I'm going to select that one. Got it in there. I come over here. This is a pretty intense activity, 2v2. Players are all active, so it's going to be high level intensity, 7 or 8 possibly. We're going to do 15 total minutes for the warm-up. In each exercise, they will work or be active for 20 seconds, so 0 minutes, 20 seconds, and they will probably have a resting period of 30 to 40 seconds. So that means each interval that we do will be 1 minute. 20 seconds of work, 40 seconds of rest equals 1 minute. We're going to do that for 15 minutes, so that is a total of 15 intervals. Now I go up here to click update, and that exercise has been created. So now I'll go over to my training sessions. I'll find that session that we've done by typing in zonal. So there it is. I can find it, or I can filter it again through my archive, and it'll only show up in sessions that I've created. So here's the one that we just did. Improve team's ability to zonal defend. We've got everything in here from earlier, which is great. So now we can just click edit and go in to add a training exercise. So we want to add in our warm-up first. So if I've got my title in there, I know that I do warm-up with a dash, so I'm looking for that. Type it in, and there's our exercise that we created. So there it is, stage 1. Now to add stage 2, I go right below that, add training exercise, and now I find the little game that I want to use. Okay, so I would have created a graphic for this. This time I have not. So I'll just add in a graphic that I've created earlier. I'll remove the US Soccer one, so I'll use this one. 4v4 plus 1, it's slightly bigger. It's not exactly the field that I want to use. I might have to go in and edit that to fit the demands of this exact training session. You don't just want to go in and select ones that are pre-populated. They will not fit, most likely, for what your topic is. But like I said earlier, if you titled them with warm-up or small-sided or expanded small-sided, now your activities will come up. And so here's one that I want to use for my third stage, which is an expanded small-sided activity. I've got one large goal, which is what we need, and I've got it set up in that defensive half again. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blues versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reds. So that'll be my stage 3. Now I want to add stage 4, which is always the match. And this will be 9v9 to 11v11 for the final match. Defending principles, everything's here, and now I'll click update, and my session's there. If I want to save it as a PDF or a single page PDF, which is what you'll use for the course, to print out to hand to your instructor, that's what it'll look like. And you can download this PDF and you can print it out by coming up here to the right-hand corner. Click that to download it, the little arrow pointing down, or you can click from there to print it out. However, to upload it into your course so your instructor can see it to give you feedback, go into your pre-course assignments. You go into assignments, you'll see it here. Practice coaching, that's where you will go in and add in each of the sessions. So hopefully this presentation helped you become more familiar with the DCC. My suggestion is to go in and spend as much time playing around with it as you possibly can. The more that you do, the more familiar you will become. And the better that you get, the more graphics and training sessions that you can create. And it should help you as you go to plan future sessions. Not only do you have your repertoire already built, which will save you time, but more importantly, you will be able to self-critique yourself on your session, what worked well, what didn't work well, and then go in and make those appropriate changes. So it's already there for you. You don't have to worry about creating a new session from scratch every time. So I hope this session was helpful for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at zac@alsoccer.org or visit our webpage, www.alsoccer.org. Thanks a lot, and I hope that you have a great course.